There always seems to be a lot of negative media reactions to successful rocket launches. What are your thoughts on this?
If they're talking about the Starship launch, the first launch, obviously having some hiccups and
Sure.
kind of the initial headlines were like, oh, it failed. It didn't reach stage separation, but, it did clear the pad, cleared the tower. So I think I'm guessing that's what they're referring to. And I think it's
Most
just a
likely.
lack of education by most people about, you know, how hard it is to get something like Starship going, or just
Right.
rockets in general. So it's probably just a lack of education. And I think that people are, it was weird because after the Starship launch, a lot of those headlines were really negative. And then within a day, it seemed like a lot of them had been edited, or, it's like, it may have looked like a failure, but here's why it wasn't. So people seem to change their tune on that. In fact, the Daily Mail UK picked up some photos from my interview with May Musk. And at first their headline was negative. And then when I checked it again, because I was like, hey, if you're going to use my photos, you can at least give me some credit.
Right.
They had changed it. So I think that I'm not sure how negative it really is at the moment, but I think it's just, not a lot of the public has a basic understanding of, rocketry.
I saw one or two articles, but it was really missed, it seemed like, about what happened to that launch pad. There were a couple articles talking about damage to launch pad with the Falcon Heavy rocket. You've already mentioned that there's a lot of reconstruction going on the launch pad. Can you tell us any more about that?
Yeah, there was a ton of damage. I actually have a piece of the concrete here as a souvenir, but a lot of the pad got blown up. And so just as of yesterday, some of the live streams caught pieces of the water-cooled steel plate actually finally being delivered and installed. So that was one of the things that they were working on before the Starship launch, and they kind of just decided to go for it anyway. If, Elon has been quoted many times saying if they would have known how it would have gone, they would have waited until the water-cooled steel plate was installed, but hindsight is 2020. But that should really give us good odds on this next launch of it actually, completing all of the objectives for the mission. So I think this next launch will be even more exciting because they learned so much from the first one.
Right.
Sure.
So
It was a funny story about Elon going to the Russians to try to buy rockets in the early days, and
yes.
how they didn't take him seriously. And the other day we
Yeah.
were commenting on that his experience in Russia was not very favorable. Maybe he liked the vodka, but that was about it, I think. And the question was, where will he put a gigafactory? And we were speculating it'll probably never be in Russia.